Epirian Pact of Adrana, Ugari, Caesea, Elandria, and Inura Minor.
Okay.
Or Major, I'm sorry.
Yeah, major.
Then, still in reference to Adrana, the
Non-aggression pact?
I guess we'll call it the Peace Order of Trinity, consisting of Adrana, Atrovia, Lyria, and then we have Justin fucking Adrana. We have the Economic Alliance.
Holy hell, dude.
Of So we've got Voss, we've got Atria. What is the overall landmass called?
Of Atria.
Actually, let's call this the Economic Alliance of...
Atria is the 3 islands.
Atria is the 3 islands.
Yep.
The Dubonian
That's Ansar.
of North Ansar. Drana, Lyria, Dubao, and Elengur. So this is just the economic ties and agreements of Adrana. That you could go beyond a singular, like, oh yeah, the border's here. We're good. Right? So we've got the Epirian Pact of Adrana, Ugari, Caesea, Elandria, and fucking Inura Major on this map right here. I don't have a way to put it on the camera.
Just take it.
Fucking point it at the yellow lines potentially there. Their immediate localization. This is more of a. I don't need to show. Look, get a good look at the map. If you hear something while rewatching this, reference this frame at 310. Okay. Yeet. Okay. So that's just the diplomatic ties of Adrana. Okay. Above and below ground, because you could consider the Economic Alliance of North Ansar here, especially, to be something not necessarily like these are our allies, but like there's an implication to the amount of foot traffic happening there, or trade, that like, hey, Dubois is like a really big trade partner for us and kind of like our local security friend. So any threat to them we have to react to, and Inura will also come in on that. This is like that, you're my friend, you're a friend of my friend, and so we're going to start becoming friends in total war.
Yeah.
Oh, you like these guys? We like these guys too. Let's fucking talk. Trade deal? Non-aggression pact?
Yeah, right, I know.
So, that's... Oh, and... You know, I'm not sure if I would even consider their relationship to the Skir Islands a legalese thing.
I feel like the Skir are smart and they wouldn't just side with something like that. They would be with that. You know what I mean? Like, it would be too much to say, this empire, like, we're just going to really side with these guys.
Right.
I feel like with everybody, they're going to be kind of like, I didn't see that happen. I wasn't there.
So I got that in the frames. So then, we move on just a little bit.
To Tantorum?
Yes. The Mesotonic Alliance of Men. Tantorum, Coron. Spell my own country's names wrong. Sarsia, and Sion. Okay. Then we've got the Sarvine. The Sarvine Trade Agreement.
Okay.
Tantorum
Anura.
in Minor.
Mm-hmm.
Siom.
Yes.
Coron. And who the fuck else? I guess Sarsia, if they had fucking boats. Sarsia.
Or is that a Razium as well?
Yep. Siom is just a Razium. I'm just shortening it. It doesn't feel like writing all that shit. And,
That seems about it.
yeah. God, they're really isolated, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucked. That explains why they're so antsy. Well, and this is just it, though. Suddenly, we're seeing a reason for Tantorum to be so like,
Yeah, it makes sense.
because they're like, dude, you're all talking, bitches.
Well, it's like also think about the whole Van and Steer thing and what they're doing. The Chancellor, remember the Dukan thing? Like, this is old. We got to get out of this. This is probably why. Like, look what happened.
Right.
Everyone did this. Like literally, like what really happened. Everyone went and did this, and we were fine.
And I was thinking about this too. I this actually. It's cool because it gives Van and Steer some like justification.
Yeah.
Makes it make sense. I was thinking about that with Haradra Kirko. How I don't know how I want his last minutes to be, but I want them to be heroic
Mhm.
and define. He is still as the antagonist.
Yeah. I mean,
Like he's running off. It's a bunch of the southern nobles, all the people who conspired to try and stop Vesemir's, consolidation from going through. And Alistair's wife is in that group, and she's running away with his kid. I want it to be them like running down to the fucking ships to get away. And fucking Haradra Kirko is sitting there like, you know what, you guys go, they're catching up, I'll buy you time, get the fuck out of here. And he makes this like last stand with his few fucking loyal dudes, stopping the heroes from preventing them from getting away, from our perspective. Where it's like, I'm trying to build the story around, he has a point.
Yeah.
He genuinely believes he's the good guy. And not in like a Darth Vader, I had 2 cents, but where there's a very reasonable geopolitical argument for him allying himself with Lyria and Atrovia and like taking this perspective of the Father Nation has misled us entirely.
Yeah.
And everything, and like the Father Nation has misled us, you guys are getting used by Anaku, I trust none of it.
Mm-hmm.
I try, and it's just this stance he's taking of I don't trust anything that's trying to tell me how to be. So Lyria seems pretty cool because they want everybody to fuck off, and Atrovia might be willing to fucking stay way up there and leave me alone if I keep everything in line down here.
Yeah.
And it's like this weird, oddly Tantoric isolationist stance he's taking.
It may seem that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on.
Should I keep that or cut that?
You can keep it. It's information somewhere.
I struggle with like how much should I say on camera to not ruin the story.
If we go to Atrovia, they have the...
Do you remember their Empire of the Mind?
Yes.
So their biggest alliances are the Inagu tribes that are scattered throughout the world. Unifying that is unifying the hive mind consciousness. Unifying the hive mind consciousness is like splinter cell. What do they call when you have them planted in the country and they hide quietly?
Sleeper cells.
Sleeper cells.
Yep.
That's how they work.
So we've got the Blood Pact of Anaku tribes.
Yep.
Of Atrovia, Lyria.
Only the Abbey and Lyria, which is like their religious class, that they're going to try to vie for power. They're going to put them into power.
if they have their way, Lyria.
Yeah, of course.
I know there's a Naku and Trinity, so I'll count them. Because I think if push came to shove and there was like, if they were all fighting right next to the Trinity, who would they come out and help?
Yeah. Who's
Yeah.
fighting out there?
Get the pale ones.
And there's a Naku tribe in the Gashgaze forest. You don't gotta spell it. Call them the GG Naku.
Is that in Dubois?
That is a Nuwa. The three forest. The three rivers. The Naku. Just type in three tribes, and then there is the Scattered Isle Anaku. Just call them SA Anak. And then I would imagine there was some in the south end, but that's your thing. Just place some Anaku down there. I don't know.
Yeah, and I would.
Southern Anaku, non-Ludenese, or not Ludenese, non-whatever. That's their goal. If they had it their way, they would try to get the Southern Anaku too.
Yes,
Because
I wouldn't think to put them down just because they're so adverse to each other.
Okay, I didn't mean the ones in your forest.
Not Visan and Naku, like scattered. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would assume that would be very hard for non-Visan. The Visan are very vicious, fucking violent. So
Okay. Well, that would work for the Trovians. They're actually using like zombie Anaku, so there's nothing that they wouldn't be above.
right,
Like they're not above beating a cripple. You know what I mean?
there we go.
And then I don't know if there's other ones throughout the rest of the world.
Yep, we gotta figure that out, don't we?
Assumably, yes, there are. Right? It
And
makes
then
sense.
the we'll call it stemming from. Actually, I'll leave that. I'll leave that one for Lyria. We'll do Lyria next because this is their whole prerogative.
Yeah, they just. Mhm.
So then, if we hop to Lyria,
Let me roll to the next video. Go ahead.
we've got obviously the Blood Pact, Lyria and Atrovia, the Vossian Trade Alliance
Yep.
of, this one's going to be long, Lyria, Adrana. Then we've got Ugari and Kisia.
Yep.
Looks like Elandria and Enura Major.
Yeah.
Dubois.
And
Oh, is it only on Voss? No. Okay. Yeah. Voss. Yeah.
no, its namesake is where the hub of it sits.
Oh, so, okay.
So it being the Vossian Trade Alliance, it's because
Strovia too.
it stems from Lyria and Adrana, and
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Atrovia.
And a Lengur. No. Well, maybe. Would they be trying with a Lengur? I don't know.
Assumably, if you know the whole thing about the Trovians and the Lyrians is the Trovians don't like the Lyrians trading with everybody
Yes.
at all.
So actually, what would be more true of this one is that.
Yeah.
The
Trovians aren't really doing trading.
more I look at this too, the more it gets stretched out, the more like I realize, oh, the Atrovians are just react. God, I hate it. Bad guys are becoming good guys. It's pissing me the fuck off.
Yeah.
The Atrovians seem to be, at the advent of this trade war, literally only reacting to protect Lyria's foothold.
Yeah.
Like they're not ready to pick a fight.
Nope.
They might be thinking about it, but they're not ready to do it. They're like, God damn it, dude, this is early.
Yeah.
Um,
Like when your ally gets involved in a big fight and you're like, no.
fuck, dude.
I'm not helping, I'm sorry. I'll give you a bunch of money. Every turn I'll give you 1,000 gold. How's that?
Then there's the Ayipioi. I'm spelling the southern.
Yeah.
The Ayipioi
is very like 18th century.
between Lyria, Trovia, and Dubao. Holy shit. And then there is the, and this would be the really inflammatory one, the anti,
Aeon.
Ailman
Agreement.
Defensive
Okay.
Pact. Anti-Ailman Defensive Pact. There's a smoother term for this somewhere, I'll figure it out. What is a word for non-ailment?
Anaku.
But encompassing even something like Dubonians.
The Wonians are Aeon. Aeon. Creations of Aeon. It's like saying humankind and not white, black, Asian, this and that.
Let's call it the Northern.
If you're talking about Owapakian,
Okay, that's better. That's better. I'll keep that somewhere. Northern Defensive Pact, Trovia, Lyria, Dubois, Illinger.
a name you didn't even know existed until today, huh?
Fucking I hate it. Who are the Valens allied with? Do they even count as a
I
place?
don't know.
Fuck
They're just a warring place. They're like Afghanistan, this and that. It's just they don't ever get the chance to do their own thing because they keep getting invaded and bullshit.
Okay.
That's it.
So then we got Lyria.
But that is the land of Belvok.
Stop it.
Bear that in mind.
Stop it. So we got Lyria's diplomatic ties here.
Yeah.
So from Adrana and Lyria, we can see like most of the map is tied together in some sort of diplomatic fucking whatever.
Yeah.
So if we, it's gonna get worse. Don't you worry.
Right.
If we keep going here, because we have to. We can't stop. If we ever stop, we don't want to do it ourselves. Let's go to Dubois because it'll be simple. There's obviously all the aforementioned previous alliances.
Yeah.
The big one for Dubois is the Imperial
Ooh.
Expansion Pact
Okay.
between them
Oh my god, I gotta write those.
and Ilengur.
I would imagine that,
It'd be like Eastern and Western Rome, two growing states watching each other's back.
yeah. I would see, maybe not in the pact itself, but I would see that Trovia would be okay with this and help it any way they can. Maybe not a full agreement of aid, but it does behoove them.
And Lyria is trying to maintain the image of like, no, we don't want to take everybody over. We're not part of that. That's not our thing. That's just
They're cool. They like Dubois. Dubois is one of their first major friends, but
Yes.
they like the South too. So I wouldn't see them wanting to get involved in this imperialistic idea. It's
Right.
cool for you, but it's not for us.
Yeah, it's just not. We're not partaking. So Dubois, all the previous mentioned economic things.
That would go directly in the face of Tantorum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we
It
have.
makes more sense. I just want to add this before you go on. It makes more sense why Dubois and Tantorum would be against each other because they never made sense saying like why Dubois and Tantorum were chill, but this makes sense. Okay.
Then we have the Tannic.
Confederation. No.
It's dangerous. Don't say that. We haven't gotten that far yet. The Tannic Alliance.
Of men. No. The double man.
Let's just call it the Tannic Alliance. Don't get too fancy. Between Koran Tantorum, and Seol. Excluding Sarsia because they're unpredictable.
Really, I would imagine Cersei would be their biggest ally.
They were for a long time. That's why Cersei is bitter now in the modern age, is because whereas, and this is where like the shame and such of that comes in, is Xanathos never broke from Tantorum's will.
Right. That's why I was curious about it, that they wouldn't be a part of this.
And it goes on into the modern era, they become more and more of less of a state. They're less recognized.
Okay.
So as time goes on and big deals start getting made, they get left out of it more and more, because if Tantorum's looking at who to approach to get as much of the South on their team as they can, you're going to want to go after Karan and Erazion, because those two places will kind of work together. They don't have the exact same prerogatives. The Seom isn't necessarily trying to regrow the forest like Karan is, so to speak. They don't have the exact same spiritual aligning, but they tend to do things together. Dubonians tried to land on the giant shores to be like, oh, we're going to help too. And Seom went, you're fucking not. Get out of here. We don't trust you. You didn't come when we called, and you picked a fight with our friend.
Okay.
There's a big ass bug on your window. Look at that bitch.
Oh, wow. I don't know what that thing is.
And that's kind of where Sarsia feels constantly left out, is this would have been signed in the last 10 years. Sarsia's been left out because it's like, we'll get to him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess, yeah.
But also due to, I guess, the pressure from, okay, we'll fucking get there. We'll fucking get there. Then there is the Sarveen Trade Alliance of where the fuck covered up the note? Dominican Islands? Domestican Islands?
Domestican Isles. What color are they? I can't even...
I haven't even drawn their alliance points.
Okay.
So we got what? The Domestican Isles, we've got Karan, Seom, and I would assume allying with the Domestican Isles allies with anything they nominally control in that region. Who knows what that is?
The Sarveen Sea, I mean, it's all those other little areas.
Domestican Isles plus.
Yeah, let me... That one out of here. Find one.
God, it both unisolates and re-isolates Tantorum, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you see that the trade war, like the two big sides are really between like Elendor, Dubois, Atrovia, Lyria, and then all their little friends, and then the South and the Domestican Isles and all their little friends.
Yeah.
And Tantorum seems like almost
Pause.
like they're...
Continue.
And Tantorum seems almost like they're like a very... I don't want to say small party because they're such a big army, but they're like this third, almost unaffiliated group of people operating totally on their own motive.
Yeah.
In the middle of these like trade, these big paths. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll pull this one up too so you can really see it. Southern Confederacy. Jeez.
So the Southern Confederation is already like Seom and Karan have been working together for a long time.
It's just
So like
it's
this is just a matter of how we do it and when.
Yeah.
Eventually it will be Sarsia as well. That's the whole point of getting Geralt in power. Because he'll be on board.
Okay.
And then
Use that as your audience, so you know that you're on frame or not.
and then if the Southern Confederation goes through without a hitch, this is where it's dangerous and it kind of puts them at odds with Tantorum, kind of doesn't. Depends on how you view it. Wulandia.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the Aya thing.
Yep. Because if you have a claim to Wolandia, you're really dealing with a population that mostly lives now in Sarcia and Sion. If you're going for the skewer residents of Wolandia, you're really claiming the common identity between the people who live across a huge chunk of the southern continent as well. That's like saying, I'm going to claim Moscow. I'm like, okay, well, you're also placing a claim on St. Petersburg as well then? Well, no. How no? How would you even avoid it at that point?
Right.
Oh, that's big.
Mm-hmm. Well, the ones you haven't done yet are the Murphos. No, I'm just kidding. No.
fuck.
The one, no.
Do they even count?
Technically, but no.
Oh, I'm gonna kill myself.
No, you haven't done. We did Dubois, did we not?
Yes.
We did.
Because their alliances are mostly
Madrana.
trade. Their only martial alliance is the Elengor-Etrovia alliance.
Yeah, I would say that the next biggest one would be. So to bear in mind, because of how big they are, is the Skewer, including Wolandia. And then we're good, because I think that's the biggest one.
Ludnese consider themselves a southern kingdom.
Okay.
In legal terms. Obviously they don't function as one, but in legal terms, for the sake of their autonomy, the Siom and the Rhone recognize them as a southern kingdom. And if you wanted to be dick butt specific, the nation state of Korea as well.
Okay.
But it's a small player. You could just wrap that into the Siom. So Wolandia. So to deal with Wolandian alliance, what we're going to have to do is separate this into a few categories. Let's call it the built states or the built kings.
The puppet states too. Maybe not call it that, but we have to remember they have puppet states.
That's the built kings.
Okay.
The built kings of Skewer.
Gotcha.
So we've got Kriya, obviously.
Yeah.
We've probably got
Amosa.
Huh?
Amosa.
Amosa.
Amosa. Amosa.
Okay.
Maybe I can't hear what that says. Turkey. Turkey. Kivixi. I mean,
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
this one here.
Turikivis.
It's questionable to say if the is Lea Sua. That's questionable to me. It could work either way. Maybe. Let me see. Are they Kamidla? Kamidla. Obviously, Wolandia. I mean, you could easily say Sanjai and Bulam, but those could just be their own countries.
I already thought of them as their own.
Okay.
So then-
anyone above right here and in this continent?
So these are the built kings of Skewer. Now we have the blessed friends, the blessed allies of what is it called? Of the Domestican Isles.
Yeah. Otherwise known as Icelandic. Siom. Lengur.
Elendor?
Yeah, I mean they trade with them. I don't know if they're like, what is this? Just like we're chill with each other, kind of blessed allies, or like if war happens, we're going
Blessed
together?
allies, we fought for each other before.
Oh, okay.
Blessed allies is we'll fight.
Okay. Probably all their like fucking. Honestly, I would imagine it'd be just that right there. They're built kings of Skewer. It's just like that's their ally. Remember, they work with the merchant armies. That's who they hire. Those fuckers.
Okay.
But if you were to say if it's purely on paper to look good, you can make something like that.
Thinking reality.
Okay.
Okay.
A separate pact for the ones of Adrian trade deals, you could say, like to really hone in on it, because here's the problem. The Mesosar Channel, right here. The land between Tantorum and the south. That is the key into our area of trade. Unless you want to go all the fuck way around. Do you want to do that, or do you want to have a deal with the Mesosar Channel? That's a great way to get inland. And now you can deal with Dubois, now you can trade with these guys up here in Supernia, you can trade with these guys, you can trade with Lyria, you can trade with the southern nations. I feel like there would be their own trade deal with that. But I don't know, that's just spitballing.
The Mesosar Pact between...
Probably southern states. Tantorum, they'd have to be, but then Tantorum wouldn't really like them. Tantorum's got an issue, but they would be okay with that pact, do you think?
Yeah, trade deal. Good money.
Okay.
Dubois. So this is the pact that has to cause the trade war.
Yeah.
So Ciacion, Tantorum, Coran, Dubois, Lyria.
Who would want to keep them out?
That's a good fucking question.
In my mind, you think it'd be Tantorum, because if Tantorum and Lyria are also part of this pact, but Tantorum and Lyria and Dubois fight each other. Look at what you draw up there. Besides Coran, that's the sides. Besides Siom, switch that with Coran, and then you have, and switch Coran with Matrovia. That's the actual battle. But they're all together in the Mesosar Pact. You know what I mean? So it's like, we'd have to break a pact. And within breaking that pact, what does that mean for trade coming inland?
So that's really what it comes down to is Petrovia doesn't seem to maintain much of a trade or naval presence, right?
Yes.
So Petrovia is not, it doesn't seem like they're going to start a naval conflict. That doesn't seem their big. So what we also got then, I got you, I know where to put it, I think. Yeah, you're right. You got it. Yeah. So Petrovia is not going to fucking start this naval conflict. They're not even part of this pact. They don't care. Their entire involvement in the war seems to be in the defense of Lyria. So it's either Lyria, Tantorum, or Dubois that breaks this pact. Like, not suggestively, like openly says, "Fuck the deal. I'm not dealing with it."
It doesn't seem like Vance would want to do that after everything he's built up to. Though the blame, what really happened with the sinking of the ship is the actual, because we know that that's the trigger, at least for Tantorum, and it was believed that Lyria was never really involved in it at all. In fact, in the investigation, there was no sign of battle at all. There was some sort of sabotage. So someone on the inside wanted to infiltrate the situation. Now, we have to remember, keep in mind the stuff with Ake Beovac and all that shit, but also like human shit. So it's like, of what country? Like, I can't imagine Ake Beovac just causing mayhem like this unless he's got a grand plan. And all of it. Because he wants to unify mankind. I don't imagine, that was the original idea. I was like, yeah, it was Ake Beovac. And the, what is it called? The fucking A, the dudes, the Krykos guys. That was who really did it. But that goes in the face of trade and stuff. Unless he just doesn't give a fuck. There's a lot of moving things. It could be someone else they wanted this to happen too, and he's like, yeah, then just go do it.
I think it's almost better that we have no clue.
I think so too.
Because, so say it was Dubois who broke the pact, who said, nope, we're not dealing with these crazy fuckers down there anymore, we're sick of their shit. Well, them and Elendil could then, that's why the South doesn't get involved right away. They get invaded by Elendil.
Really?
Yep.
You think they just jump in like that?
They haven't. They have. It's the Imperial Expansion Pact.
Why would they lose?
Maybe Skewer takes offense to the notion.
But then why would Dubois want Elendil to invade a place that they probably want themselves?
No, they're not going to keep it. They're just going to help.
Why would Elendil help?
Because if Dubois finally gets hold of this entire southern region, if Dubois finally gets control of this, then they'll be able to help him fight all these much more tumultuous, bigger entities over here.
You have scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yep. Eastern and Western Rome, dude. If you send me dudes to help fight these Sassanids, I will fucking take care of Germany for you. I swear to God.
Okay. Makes me kind of think that maybe there's more blood ties than we might believe.
Something.
Maybe Dubois, I mean, I never talked about it in the video. But maybe Dubois has got something more. Maybe not like that's old Dubois Empire, but maybe there's something more to it.
There's some commonality there,
Yeah.
or some understanding,
Like, how could
like
that
Brother Titan or
Mhm.
Brother Aeons or
They're
something.
not too far apart in that one point there.
No.
So I could make something work easily.
You seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah, of course.
So Elendil's now involved. Tantorum goes, all right, we're doing it, and starts fighting. Etrovia gets involved. Fuck, man. Adrana has to get involved.
Why is that?
Well, if
Be my advisor, and I'll be Judan. Try.
okay, if Tantorum takes Illyria,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not they successfully burn the Etrovian state, they've now got northern access to Adrana. 800 years of Cold War, bad blood gone unaddressed, they suddenly have a way. They, Tantorum, you know these people, have a way to act upon it. A way around. A way that the mountain folk can't stop them. All they have to do is conquer the wilds, and you know Tantorum, they'll just burn the fucking thing down.
Well, my first question is, who would we be needing to fund to stop that from happening in two different avenues? One avenue would be the funding of the actual conflicts in the south, and where the fighting's happening down near the Epioi, the Mesozoic Channel, the Servian Sea. We're going to have to put our feet to the ground there and see in which way can we aid that from afar. When it comes to Lyria and North, obviously we want to side with Lyria. Obviously, I mean, that means we're going to get attached to the Inaki thing. We have a Brotherhood stuff going on there. I doubt they'll ever get North, so I'm not too concerned about that.
You doubt it.
I doubt it. I heavily doubt it. With the scattered Isle people,
Look, all I'm saying is, I'm sure a lot of people doubted that mankind could conquer the greater woodlands of Ludnan. And they almost did it. And the only reason they didn't is because them down there got their minds changed.
I just really don't want to get into direct combat. If I can help it.
The only thing stopping that is the Murphos and Lyria.
And I feel good about both of those things. Now the issue is...
Those are both great things, but look, we have a concern right now. This is the big concern. Who are the Skewer going to show favor to? Because if they show favor to the Seom in the south, they have a means to hold their own and maybe push back. If they show favor to us, we have a way to put pressure on Tantorum.
Well, I already know how we can do that when it comes to their whole land dispute that's going on down there. That's the perfect way to handle that situation. There's a land dispute going on in Willandia,
Mm-hmm.
which can compromise, let's be honest, the foothold of Skewer people on Voss. Well, that could be something we could help in. We could aid in that situation. To show our support, I can't necessarily send soldiers out there, because you got to keep in mind the stuff going on with the Asuk and everything.
Yep.
I can't necessarily, we have right now, they're planning an excursion to the Murphos. This is badly timed, of course. It's not going to happen for a few more years, but I can't forego that. That is very important. I feel like this can handle itself and the outcome will always find a way, as we always have.
Sir. That is putting a lot of faith into one Etrovia who has failed at every turn to push back what they consider threats. Dubois is a nation suffering from plague dependent on foreign aid. If they get equalized, they lose. Tantorum has been gearing up for a long time to do something.
And
They are
aggression
ready for
towards
the war.
Tantorum won't.
Aggression, no, but maybe just a reinforcing of Lyrian walls.
I don't
So to
mind
speak.
sending money and mercenaries.
I mean, to deal with the northern issue for us,
Yeah.
our ships aren't required,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
and we have the money and the means to put a lot of men on those ships that might not even necessarily be from here. We need our mages, but we don't need Caesian warriors. And we really need to ask ourselves, look, for example, the Aya situation you mentioned, there's also a word that King Vesemir has something in the works about that exact person. And Quran has seemingly allied themselves with Tantorum.
Yeah, that is very odd. Isn't it?
Yeah.
What's he up to?
We don't know, but that's the problem. If, worst case scenario, a Skewer queen who was once exiled becomes a landed noble at the behest of southern kingdoms, they've robbed us of all of our allies. And suddenly the threat isn't stoppable anymore. It's just a matter of when Tantorum wants to make it real.
It's kind of hard to imagine sending people to war like that. But
If we don't put pressure on a secondary front for our allies in the north, they will make it to us. The Elendor are going to do their job, clearly. We need to let them know they don't have anything to worry about from this front. We also need to...
Elendor Dubois is what you're saying. Elendor Dubois, the Skewer.
We need to let them know that they're not going to have to worry about us. We're in line.
Sion would probably never directly get involved, but could we indirectly involve the Sion, I wonder?
The Seom are very tight with the Ronic people.
Right. I mean, not to betray them, but would they help us out in this endeavor? I wonder. Interesting.
We're getting into the meta thing of whatever these individuals' motivations are. And it's like the Seom does not like the North.
We're the same people. Okay.
And that's the weird thing is the Seom is so... I want to call them politically apathetic, because it's not true. They really mistrust Dubois, and they really don't like Etrovia. But they don't have a problem with Lyria.
Yeah, I would imagine that that'd be a person I'd want to friend. Even how far away they are. Like, I just want to trade with you. I want to be chill with you. I don't mind what you do and who you're friends with and shit. I just want us to be chill with each other. Because between them and the Skier, that's the most important thing to Adrana. You know, trading with all these nations over on this side is great.
Well, this is what's happening in my head, right? We've got all these Skewer countries, or we've got, these Skewer influenced nations, these Phoenician guys. Let's go Ugari, Caesia, Elandria. Senyai and Bulam.
Come in, love. Gotta learn how to spell all this stuff again. And then I think it says Saludera. Solidarity.
Black Power. Amosa.
Let me see that. Can't see that part. Where's Amosa? Oh, down there, yeah.
Okay. So these guys are all in Korea, the city-state. So this is the thing. Korea is on Seom's side. Straight up, no doubt, they're on the Seom side. They're siding with Seom, who's going to side with Korea. So they're in the war on a distinct side, even if the Domestican Isles isn't. So the Domestican Isles influences these guys heavily.
Yeah.
How many of them are going to side with, if Aya takes a position of power in the south, which of these states are going to go, we're on that person's side? Don't care what the overlord says. Maybe if they say no, we'll stop.
On Adrana's side?
On Aya's side. So, how many of these groups would back this just being a skewer queen?
I'd have to remember the alliance pact that they had with the skewer. Now we got to keep in mind when we were doing the thing earlier, there must have been Aya's mother was this queen, and then now it's up to Aya.
Yes.
Because Aya wasn't born for. She would be like so young at this point.
Right.
Anyway,
which of these? Because these are all skewer influenced places. This trade empire. These are all Phoenician, right? But like, is the fucking king of the Domestic Isles? Is he saying go to war, don't go to war? Generally, he doesn't say much. He just lets us do our thing until we need some sort of guidance.
Yeah.
So if she ends up in a position of power and she takes a side, how many of these guys are going, all right, we're on her side. We're coming into the 8. Don't care what the previous implication was. She's one of us.
At what point?
At the point of which she ends up say she
1640 in the book time.
Yes. If she ends up say the queen in a general sense of Sarsia, and therefore is a massive political entity of not just skewer influence, of skewer descent.
I'd really have to think about what the skier did in this land individually to say that.
To figure out which of these guys would be like.
Because I could make some up top of my head. Them, and them. Great. But
right.
But I to be accurate, I'd really have to get into the nuts and bolts of it and just find these countries and create them and see what naturally would happen.
Because that's the linchpin of the war. It's not so much what the skew or what the Domestic Isles decides to do. It's what they get pressured the most to do from their subjects. I think we're thinking about this power dynamic a little bit backwards. The skewer don't want to get involved in a war up there.
Of course.
But if fucking 8 out of their 10 subjects goes, dude, we're going in one way or another, they're going to go, fuck it.
Yeah, and honestly, that would also depend with Adrana, going back to that. What's Adrana's... I don't remember. What's their deal with the skewered? Are they allied with them? Are they just trading with them? I don't remember now.
And then it becomes exactly.
Then we would have to as well. Adrana's like, God damn it. The whole concept was Adrana never really got involved.
Yeah.
That's the lore of it.
Too fucking bad.
So, and I've kind of made that a statement because the videos I'm going to do really, really need them to not get involved. Now, maybe not get involved. When I say not get involved, I mean
not involved. We're not sending mages
thousands
to war.
of fucking soldiers out there.
But they're passive influence.
Of course, it's this Cold War kind of mentality. I will fund everyone that's against Tantorum. I have no problem.
And this is the thing: is we know Adrana, and then by extent, all of their trade buddies in the north have connections to all of these Western Islandi states. We know the Seom has connections to all of the Western Islandi states. We're going to call everything west of Domestic and Western.
Yeah.
We know that's kind of the fight. Mm-hmm. Dubois has a connection to all of these guys. Latrovia has a connection to Dubois. Means Lengir's talking to these guys as well. But so is the Seom. And that's the conflict of Adrana has more economic influence on the Skewer Isles and their colonies. But the Seom has more ethnic ties.
Right, of course.
So who wins out?
I would just because
if Adrana has their way, all of these little guys are going to come and rush to the aid of fucking Dubois.
Well, and that's the thing with Adrana. They really have been for years just massaging the alliance with the western half of the world. That's been their biggest thing. And that their big thing too is with the skewer. Why do you think Aya and her retinue had to go to Adrana? That is their whole deal for everyone on this side, which I'm recording the screen so I can, and I have it audio recording. this whole side is what Adrana would be working on. All of this.
So it means that the trade war, is over control of the Iapyoi Sea,
Yep.
and then the Sarvian Sea.
Mhm.
It's a control of the Iapyoi for access to the Sarvian.
Yeah, it's like it's a shift in power for the Skewer,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a shift in power for whoever fucking would have the Iapyoi.
But it means the real war, the character war, comes down to a war for Aya.
That will be the second war.
Is it Aig, Beovac, Adrana, and all them who gets control of Aya and influences mankind? Or is it Thessaria and the southern kingdoms?
Yeah. Yeah, honestly.
Who gets to Krykos first?
That would have to be decided in the books.
You know?
I'm not gonna do it on here. I don't want no one knowing. But yeah, I you got to read. In 50 years, the book will be out.
Yep. You illiterate fuckers.
Honestly, we'll also have to round it down. It's going to be 8 o'clock, sadly.
I figured.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, we're going to the meeting.
I know. I wish I could keep going. I wonder if I should probably release this, huh?
Good.
Under what? I don't know. Like, is it a behind the scenes thing, or is this a? I just noticed
Two painfully sober people try to figure out how